Hi, this is Drogi, and today I'm gonna show you 50 different things top speedrunners of Super Mario 64 do to save time in a 120-star speedrun. So let's jump right in. We play in the Japanese version, which can save up to around 3.7 seconds depending on what tricks you do in the speedrun. An exact version comparison can be found in the description below. So we'll continue with a setting in the game's menu. By setting the audio to mono, the game processes less audio and that makes the console lag a bit less, saving around 2 seconds in a 120-star speedrun. A small little tech is used in Kuko Mountain. When landing on the warp from a long jump, Mario will stand for a few frames before he warps. By timing a precise slide stick touch, Mario will walk for 1 or 2 frames and stop 1 or 2 frames early, ready to warp. A similar way to cancel Mario's momentum before a warp is done in Bob-omb's Battlefield and Wet Dry World. We run against the wall, push it for a frame and then go neutral so Mario stops immediately. If Mario is running with a close-up camera and C-up is pressed, he will slow down until he enters first-person mode. Entering a slope while in that slowdown animation will speed Mario up. Cancel the glitch by pressing B cause Mario will attempt to punch, realize he's on a steep slope and just go into sliding animation. That saves quite a bit of time when collecting 100 coins in Tall Mountain. A similar small tech that is only used once in a run and only in 50% of the cases depending on RNG, approaching this Koopa in close-up Lakitu cam, you can crouch and slide into him to kill him. Press C up to cancel the animation and immediately jump kick before Mario goes into first person view. This way you can land on the shell a few frames early. When grabbing Mips, you save around half a second if you do not dive into him. We skip the animation where Mario gets up if you grab him with a punch. The timing is harder, but we save around a second every time we do it, which is twice in a run. During bomb clip, by re-grabbing the bomb on the last possible frame, the bomb will have its biggest size and thus push Mario backwards faster. We save a few frames like that, but if the re-grab happens 1 frame too late, the bomb will explode. Players used to jump into the 100th coin to get to the spawning star faster, but one day Tazos found out that this is a bad idea. If you jump after the star spawn cutscene, the star will spawn a bit lower and save you a few hundreds. On slopes where you want to run up, you can speed up by rolling from B to A. That makes Mario dive for 1 frame and immediately roll out, and build up speed for Mario running up the slope. Okay, now I know this is kind of a meme among YouTubers at that point, but dude, only 5.3% of my viewers are actually subscribed to my channel. So please just hit that button and the bell. I appreciate it guys, and now let's dive a bit deeper into how optimized this game is. There is a mechanic programmed in the game that makes the Koopa run faster when Mario is a certain far distance away from him. This rubber band mechanic can save you time in speedruns by finishing the race quickly and running away from the Koopa as fast as possible. The same mechanic applies to the penguin in CCM. Its speed is not RNG dependent, you just have to precisely manipulate him to make him reach the finish line a bit faster. After you finish the penguin race before the star spawns, you have 1 frame to move Mario before grabbing the star, and by aiming towards the star, we sometimes save a frame or 2. And for the Koopa race, a similar thing happens. You can place yourself and then time a ground pound within 1 single frame to grab the star faster. This means you have to press 2 buttons in the same 0.03 seconds. Oh, and for the Koopa race in THI, you want to either slow down or speed up to finish it between 14.5 or 15 seconds, which manipulates the Koopa so that he reaches the finish line faster, where you can rubber band him by ledge grabbing as far away as possible. When collecting 100 coins in HMC, you don't just want to have fast movement to save time. Your movement should be good enough so that the Scuttlebug who walks in circles right here sees Mario in the perfect moment. So only if your movement is absolutely flawless you are there early enough to reach the so-called early spider cycle and save a few more frames. When killing the big bully in Lethal Lava Land with a side flip, having a more down left angle is a bit faster. The bully dies a bit later compared to a straight down angle, but that doesn't matter. Mario can turn faster and reach the stars sooner. Another well-timed side flip can be performed after punching down the pillars to drain the moat. If timed well, Mario will avoid entering a swimming animation and instead open the door on the first frame possible. And right as we leave the room, we enter Mario Cam and press C down right immediately. By pressing C left twice on the first long jump, we get a perfect angle to enter the Vanish Cap stage with good downwards momentum. Now let's enter Shifting Sandland. By running up the right part of the pillar, we avoid that the Fly Guy sees Mario and lunges towards him. And now when we bounce off the Fly Guy to reach Klepto the bird, we hold neutral. That gives Mario more momentum and lets him fly further. When grabbing a pole from below, we can instantly grab the pole by pressing B exactly one frame after Mario enters the glitchy freefall animation. And when entering Dire Docks, you can chain 3 long jumps going from the star door. However, skipping the last long jump saves us 1/30th of a second. It is kind of lenient to collect the star you select. However, if you collect the first star in Dire Docks, the entry of the stage will move forward. So we collect the 100 coins and the chest star first. When you get the first star in DDD and beat Bowser in the Fire Sea, the sub despawns, which makes us able to collect the other stars too. And sometimes by selecting specific stars, we can save lag frames. For example, if you select the second or later star, the ship in Jolly Roger Bay will not be on the ground of the ocean. So for the cannon star, to reduce lag, we go out of our ways to select the first star. Another instance where we do this, Tall Mountain. Selecting the first star prevents the monkey star cage from spawning, ultimately saving some frames on lag. And when collecting a star in a cap stage, we can skip a dialogue by jumping directly from the switch into the star. This is a bit easier in the wing cap stage compared to the vanish cap stage, where you have to perform a wall kick dive. Normally, we just re-enter stages with a long jump. However, there are 2 stages that you can also enter with slide kicks without losing time: Tiny Huge Island and Lethal Lava Land. Entering LLL with slide kicks even saves a bit of time, about 2 frames every time we do it. And when leading the snowman's head to his body in Cuckoo Mountain with a perfectly timed jump that lands in the perfect spot, we can skip the animation where Mario looks up and talks to the snowman, saving a few tenths. A quite unique piece of hardware is used by many players so they can switch between controllers faster. These controller switchers allow you to use a different controller for Bowser throws, whose joystick is easier to spin and wears out less fast. Now let's talk about some more sophisticated tech of this game. After all, there are more movement options than just classic triple or side somersaults. When trying to maintain speed from a dive, we can do a frame perfect slide kick. Means right as we land, we press C and B in consecutive frames. The ideal roll up from such a slide kick is frame perfect as well, and you only have one button to time it. Another way to maintain speed from a dive is a speed kick. We keep holding A after the rollout and forward as we land from the dive, then get to a precise spot near the dead zone as quickly as possible. Kick and immediately hold forward again. The muscle memory for this is a bit hard to acquire, but with a lot of practice you can master this tech. When landing on a slope from a long jump, if we hold C, Mario will carry more speed. Similarly, when landing from a long jump and immediately single jumping, when holding C, Mario can jump 1 frame earlier. When turning Mario around, that takes some time because he will do a full turn. When almost standing still, we can very slightly touch the stick and release it again to have Mario stand still faster. Then we hold in the direction we want and skip the turnaround animation completely. This is a pretty precise little tech that takes a while to learn and saves very few frames only each time you do it. press A and B to jump kick. But hold on, there's a faster way to do it. Sometimes you want to buffer and hold A and then press B. This is called QJK, quick jump kick, and is usually faster than a normal AB kick. And there are 5 frames where you can wall kick, and the wall kicks have different properties, so timing the wall kick perfectly can save time. On some tricks you want to aim for a first frame wall kick. On some tricks you want to specifically get a second or a third frame. The game teaches us stand in front of an NPC and press B to talk to him. However, by running into the NPC and pressing B, it's easier to talk to them. In the Japanese version, we can also wait for toads close to spawn, which is the perfect timing for the first frame you can talk to him. The game's movement becomes completely different when flying, swimming or riding a shell. One could write whole papers on just shell riding tech. Relevant for 120-star speedruns, however, is, after reaching a certain speed, we try to jump with the shell and frame perfectly chain more jumps to slowly build up speed and save some more frames. So when running up the pillars in shifting sandland, when we need to get into flying animation, we can go neutral right before we start the triple jump to make the pillar eat the single jump, thus skipping one animation needed for the triple jump. So how do we practice all these little things? Well, Arkcircum I in Tabascoth is the practice ROM that runs on an EverDrive that allows you to practice Super Mario 64, warp between stages, load save states, count lag frames, show input values, and much more. This was revolutionary in the community, and every player, or let's say almost every player nowadays, uses this practice ROM. There are currently over 300 lag reductions being used throughout a 120-star speedrun, and some of them are really subtle. In Tiny Huge Island, by pressing C-Ride upon killing the 5th piranha plant, we save 0.016 seconds, because that's how much lag the other plant causes when dying with the other camera. Another spot where we can save 0.016 seconds is in Wet Dry World. We press C-Ride on this box break, and now right as the star has spawned, we time entering Mario Cam C down right to avoid a potential fire on cam, sometimes, depending on RNG, saving us another 0.016 seconds. Double click C-Ride on the lethal level and red coin star grab, 0.016 seconds. Killing this adorable little Snuffit isn't just cruel, it will also lose us a frame on lag, so we try to avoid it. The carpet ride used to be the only spot over the course of like 100 minutes where we could just breathe for a minute, relax and find back to our very own personal headspace. This changed though, when we found that the game lags during this section. With specific paths and timings, you want to leave the carpet, collect the coins a certain way and change the camera so that you've saved a few tenths on lag. Walking around this toad who gives us a star will prevent the mirror room from being rendered on screen, saving some more time ultimately. And by hitting the continued on save option, we risk accidentally hitting the wrong option, going into the main menu and losing the run. But continued on save prevents lag, saving up to 6 frames each time you do it. And for the end, I want to have a quick look into the past and the future. So in a historic race at the PACE event in April 2019, Siglamic switched controllers to perform a trick called frame walking in Jolly Roger Bay, saving a few seconds over the other contestant. Let's rewatch these moments.
So those familiar with the Smashbox, or if you've heard of it, it's basically like a fight stick setup. Siglamic has whipped it out and he's got a nunchuck plugged in as well.
There he goes. Here he goes.
A
Pixel
different
walking,
method of cannonless.
mashing on the... And he's
Oh,
made it.
he's in there. He's in there.
So that is only possible on that Smashbox. The button he was mashing was up on control stick. You cannot do that on a normal control.
The audience erupted in applause, but soon this trick caused a huge discussion. Switching from an analog joystick input to a digital one during gameplay is not intended by anyone. The community eventually agreed on banning the switch between analog and digital inputs mid-run, so this is a time save that no longer exists. If you want to know more about the controversial topic of frame walking, check out Simply's video in the description below. And now a time save for the future that might become a thing one day. Circum Arc virtually replayed the same speedrun on an N64 that was cooled down or heated up to specific temperatures. He found out that the ideal temperature can save up to a second on lag in a 120-star speedrun, basically for free. And now I want to know from you, what do you think? The game has entered spheres of optimization never thought possible, and we are facing a potential 137 time for 120-star speedruns within the next year or so. So I want to ask you, will the game get so optimized eventually that people will go out of their way to heat up their N64s to specific temperatures just to save some frames? Do you think this will be a thing, and can you think of other things that people will do in the future to push the limits of the game even further? Let me know in the comments below, or tell me what video I should create for you next. Until then, please subscribe to my social media. I appreciate your support a lot. Once again, thank you so much for 1000 subscribers, and I wish you a very, very nice day. See ya.